Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, please do make sure you are subscribed because subscribing is for free, okay? So today I wanted to talk about something very serious. This affects both South African citizens and Zimbabwean citizens, all right? So I wanted to talk about this on my platform and just put it out there. I just want to also know, where do people stand with this whole issue? Okay, so I will play you a few videos so you can see it. These videos are for all the Zimbabwean people trying to come back into South Africa. Hence, a lot of people go back home for Christmas holidays, and you gotta go and see your families and stuff like that. So many of them were stuck at the border in Musina. Reason being is their exemption permits. The government of South Africa is no longer renewing those permits anymore. Okay, so now the government is saying that, listen, you have to apply different types of visas because those other ones, they have expired. So right now, it seems as Zimbabwean citizens are wanting to come back into South Africa with their expired visas. Okay, I don't know where they do that at, but anyway, it is what it is. That's what we're facing. That's what's happening right now. I will show you a few videos and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary, all right? So just stay tuned.
This is reporting at foot and mouth group I. Foot and mouth.
My brother, we are partners in crime, right? Shh, people are facing behind.
Vari kutamburwa zvakaoma kwete zvishoma. Vanhu vese vari kutinhwa kudzokera kunyika kwavo kwavakabva kuZimbabwe. Zvakaoma vanhu vaMwari. Zvakaoma, munongoita kunzwa imi. Munongoita kuudzwa muchinzwa imi. Kudzoserwa vese zvava, hapana ari kusara vakomana. Nyika yeZimbabwe muone kuti yakaoma sei. Tarisai muone zviri kuitika vedu. Zimbabwe ngaichinje.
So basically, you've seen it yourself, and basically in some of the videos, people are actually walking through South African borders illegally. And these people have their children, their families. They're fearing the poverty in their home country, which is Zimbabwe. And my thing is once you've crossed the border, you are undocumented. Nobody knows you in the government. How are you going to be employed other than if you're going to be working those petty jobs, those that some South Africans do not want to do? So what's going to happen? If you can't be employed, you're hungry, what are you going to do? Allegedly, some of them resort into crimes. Okay? So I saw this tweet. I thought it was very interesting. This was from Herman Mashaba from Action SA. I'm just going to show you this tweet and you can pause and read and all of that. So he said, Zimbabweans coming back to South Africa. Do they have dual citizenship? When some of us raised the matter and asking for Home Affairs South Africa intervention as for back as 1st December 2016, I was immediately insulted and called names. You can't lie to people about their life experiences, okay? So, do you think this is true? And what do you think about his views? Okay. So if you want to come back into South Africa, you must have dual citizenship, maybe. Because if you're not, then why are you forcing to come into a country which is not yours illegally? Okay? What is your plans, and why is it that they're running away so much from their country instead of fighting for their country, for their freedom? Because to me, this is not freedom. This is not how you should live your life. This is not right. This is torture. I couldn't even imagine having to go through that and having to decide that I have to go into a country illegally. How am I going to get employment? Anyway, there was another video that I saw. I thought it was interesting, from the minister in South Africa, and he talked about the hospitals in Musina, what's going on and stuff like that. So you can check it all out.
If you go to Musina Hospital now and go to the labor ward, and I'm challenging you to do so, you'll find that 70% of the women who are delivering there are from Zimbabwe. Nobody stops them. And when we are going to look for border guards, and when we say we arrest people, we are not arresting them for coming to South Africa. We are saying they must come officially, Tembegile. I want to emphasize that. All we are saying is, don't jump the border, don't go to the borderline, come to the border gate where you come in officially. Especially that people in SADC, Tembegile, they don't need a visa to come to South Africa. All you need is a passport. Surely that cannot be demanding too much. If you say when you are coming to South Africa, either to look for a job or for medical care or even to buy food, come with your passport. So let's register you at the border. Let's record who came in and let's record who comes out. Surely that can be asking for too much.
No, they do.
So what did y'all think about the minister's saying? Okay. So he said that, there's nothing wrong with you coming into the country, but come legally, not illegally. We need to record who comes in and who comes out. All right. Right now, a lot of South Africans are complaining that they're being carjacked by Zimbabweans and stuff like that. All these people can come into the country and do all these crimes because they're not documented. How are they going to find them? And there have been a lot of cars, allegedly, that have been recovered at the border of Musina. Okay, they found so many cars that have been stolen. And, some people are saying that, sometimes you are lucky for your life to live after you being hijacked by, Zimbabweans and stuff like that. So saying some of them, when you resist, they will kill you. Even if you don't resist, they kill you. So why is the country wanting to let people that do not want to respect the country's laws? Why can't they do those crimes in their own countries? I'm sure they're doing them, but why are they forcing themselves to come into South Africa and not contribute in anything that's going to prosper the country or prosper themselves? It's all about they just want to take and not return anything back. Okay, so there was another tweet here that I found. Where they're talking about Mugabe took the land back from the whites and gave it to Zimbabweans. And why is it Zimbabweans are now searching for greener pastures in South Africa, where whites own 72% of the land, buildings, and businesses? Was independence a blessing or a curse? Let's talk about it. Okay, some of you are not ready to talk about this. Let's talk about it. So if Mugabe, he never wanted the white people in his country. He was very adamant about that. He wanted them out. So they took the land back from the white people. And we saw what happened, Then there were food shortages. Zimbabweans went through a lot, okay? They went through a lot. So why is it that they have all this land, but they still want to run away to go to another country illegally? And they're being allowed to do that. Does that mean all these African countries, they're failing their own African people? You better let me know. Because it just kind of looks like all these countries that are run by black people, I'd say, yeah, it's all a problem. So look at Haiti, okay? They assassinate anybody. Like, that's how they're not even scared of their own president. They don't even respect that because of what corruption is a problem. You know, if a country has all this land, why is it that they can't, produce work? They can't build anything. They cannot do nothing. They have all of these resources, but the countrymen and women are still poor. One other thing that I found that was very interesting was that ZANU-PF have their office in Sandton. Okay, now they're calling it ZANU-PF South Africa. What's that all about? ZANU-PF South Africa. Why? Why are you in South Africa? I thought you are, you can't run your government in another country. Okay, you have to stay in your country. All right. I think it's high time that Zimbabwean nationals, they need to take back their own country. They need to fight back. They can't keep running away from their own problems. All right? Because this thing will never end. It'll never end. South African went through the most in fighting to get their independence, okay, back from the apartheid government. They went through the most. They ran away. They went and fought, got some skills, and came back home and fight for their own land, fight for their own country. Why is it that it's so difficult for Zimbabwe to do so? Okay, you fight your country. When they say it's voting time, you need to go and vote. Vote, vote, vote. If you can't vote, you will never have a say. Then you're going to milk another country and you feel like you are so deserving. That is your own country and you're not even legal. So their permits have expired. What now? What now? Who's going to employ you? So I think, it's high time that they need to fight for their own land. And like I said, for me, all of these countries that are run by black people, they're all trash, honest speaking. Even in South Africa, I would think South Africa, things are bad there. And, these people from Zimbabwe feel like South Africa is better. I mean, yes, maybe probably better than what they have there. But, South Africa is also run by black people. It's trash. Okay? It's trash there. People are not safe. People do not feel safe. The government does not ensure their safety. Hence, you see people crossing the border so easily. These people are angry in their hearts, okay? They know most South Africans don't like them. And what are they going to do? They're going to retaliate back by doing all this, very despicable crimes, right? And now the elections in Zimbabwe are coming very soon. And I don't know if Zimbabweans are ready to go back home to go fight with their vote. I'm not sure. I don't know. Since they're fighting so hard to be South Africans, I don't know if they'll be able to do so. So there was another tweet that I found here that was very interesting. It reads, Zimbabweans must understand that a vote will put an end to these humiliating experiences. ZANU-PF has been able to rig elections because Zimbabweans choose to stay away from voting. Running away has never providing a lasting solution. Those aboard who should come and vote. I agree. I agree with this statement. Okay? If you can to go back home to go and vote, I think you should do so. I think you should go back home, fix the problems in your country. It's high time. You need to go back home and vote. If you never vote, this problem, that Zimbabweans are poor, nothing is going well there, it will never end. It will never end. And I also found a video too. I thought it was very interesting and I thought I should play it on this video so you can see what is it that they're saying about making a lot of Zimbabwean citizens to come back home and vote. So let me play the video right here.
Good evening, everyone. A lot of young people have been asking me, Daddy Hope, why should we bother to go and register to vote and vote when ZANU-PF is going to rig? Now here's the thing, I've got an answer for you. ZANU-PF has been able to rig because people did not bother to go and register to vote and actually going to vote and defending the vote. I'll give you an example of 2013. 21 people out of every 100 people actually bothered to go and cast their vote, which means that 79 people who were eligible to go and vote did not actually go and vote. Now, this helped ZANU-PF and will continue helping ZANU-PF if it remains like that, because those 79 people who did not go to vote or bother to actually go and register to vote would have meant that ZANU-PF had 79 free ballots to play around with in terms of staffing. So if ZANU-PF realized that 21 people have voted out of every 100, it could stuff the ballot box up to 79 ballots, because those people did not turn up to vote. Now, what a huge voter turnout does is it reduces the ability of the incumbent party, which in this case is ZANU-PF, to rig the election. We saw this in Zambia. The Zambian ruling party was able, when it was in opposition, to go and register more than 1 million virgin voters, young people that had never actually voted their whole life. It won by over 1 million votes. It means that if those people had not gone to actually cast their vote, Hichilema would not be president today. Regardless of all the rigging that was done by Ed Kalungu, he could not rig enough for him to say he has won, because Hichilema and his party and the youth leader Joseph Kalimbwe were able to mobilize more than 1 million votes, which made it extremely impossible for Ed Kalungu to rig the election. Now, this is my message to young people in Zimbabwe. The reason why the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission came out and said only 2,000 people had registered to vote, and then after we had pressured them, they then said 2,971. And then we produced evidence to show that one youth group had managed to register over 9,000 votes and they haven't been back, is because they realized that the more people register to vote, it becomes difficult to rig in favor of ZANU-PF. That is the main reason why they want to create a semblance of voter apathy, of people who don't want to register to vote, is because it helps them to be in a position to rig on behalf of ZANU-PF. Now, if you are going to stop this, you've got to make sure that everyone around you is energized to go and register to vote. That's the only way you can secure the future of this country, the future of this beautiful Zimbabwe, by making sure that everyone eligible to vote around you is actually registered to vote, and that they will turn up and vote and then defend the vote. This is the most important message for 2022. We can talk about any other thing, but the real thing is that people need to register and actually go and vote. The reason why ZEC is playing around with numbers of people that have registered to vote is because it wants to demoralize Zimbabweans by saying that there's no point in going to vote. In fact, most of the messages that are coming on social media to say there's no point in voting because ZANU-PF is rigging are actually coming from ZANU-PF supporters and ZANU-PF Warakashi and ZANU-PF crude propagandists like Matigari. Please make sure that everyone around you goes to register and vote if they are eligible. If they ask you why, tell them that it will reduce the gap that allows ZANU-PF to go and rig elections. Have a good evening.
I hope you all heard all of that, the message, and it was very, very eye-opening, okay? If you don't go to register to vote, you can't have your voice, and you can't just go to register and you never even show up. for the main event. All right, you can't say if I vote, even if I vote, my vote won't make a difference. Lies. Your vote is very important. You're not happy with the state of your country. You're not happy in running away all the time, having to risk your life crossing the Limpopo River, which is so infested with alligators that are sad. That's very sad. Like that. I saw this video today, and I most of the time I'm very energetic and stuff. After that video I saw, it's a very sad situation, y'all. It's so sad. You can't watch people risk their lives just for freedom, and just only to be attacked by alligators running away from your problems. Sometimes you gotta face the problems. I understand the hunger situation. I mean, it's pretty bad. Like, what are you supposed to do? You're watching your kids, your family members, they're hungry. What are you supposed to do? You will end up having to put your life in danger, having to be attacked by alligators. Man, this is ridiculous. You're looking at grown men crossing and running into South Africa like that without being documented. Change is near. You guys have to make a change. Are you happy being talked about Zimbabweans this, Zimbabweans that all of the time? I mean, that I don't think that's a nice thing to hear. I don't think I'll ever be happy to be complained about South Africans this, South African that, South African this. If you're going into a country, you have to go legally. I live in Canada. I live in Canada legally. Simple. You just look it up online. What is it? What kind of visa you want, and then you just apply accordingly. And they want the documents, and they have to check you and all of that stuff. When your documents are almost expiring, you reapply. You just do that. Can you imagine me trying to cross the border, going all the way to Canada without any papers, and I demand them to let me into their country? No. You want to be a citizen of Canada, you have to apply. All right? If you're staying in Canada, if you're coming into Canada as a visitor visa, on a visitor visa, you cannot work. Okay? And they cannot catch you working. They catch you working, my dear, they will deport you, cancel everything under your name. You will never, ever, ever land your foot into Canada ever again. Because what? They have laws. What I have a problem with is the audacity of the people from Zimbabwe wanting to, don't want to listen to the laws of South Africa, don't want to respect the laws of South Africa. That's our laws. That's the country's laws. And you have to abide by those laws. If you don't want, then go into your country. Go home. Go have your own laws that you want to abide by them. Okay? That is so disrespectful. That is like a big slap in the face. What's next? Do we now have to extend South Africa also with Zimbabwe? Now Zimbabwe is our new province? No. There's laws in every country. I believe every country has a law. They want to have Africa as one. Say, no, we should not have borders and stuff like that. I do not agree with that statement. You have to control. You have to control countries. Okay. Most of these countries out in Africa, they all want South Africa to make the law to say that, yes, we're now going to have these open border. Do you know what's going to happen? Nobody's going to go to Uganda. Nobody's going to go to Niger. Nobody's going to go to Somalia. Nobody's going to do that. Everybody's going to flock into South Africa. Okay. And then South Africa, what's going to happen to it? It's going to collapse within a year. And then everybody goes back into their countries, and then they put borders, and they won't allow any of South Africans into their countries. Why is it that people want to come to South Africa so bad? Why? This thing of, no, we have to have open borders. This is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thought. When I heard it, I was like, oh my God. And you look at all of these countries that are doing bad, all of them, if you look at them, They all are under socialism. It doesn't work, people. It has failed time and time and time again. Every country that's in shambles, every country that's in doing really bad, you look at the policies, they're all socialism. It does not work. You can't give people everything for free, y'all. Who's paying for those things for free? Who? The taxpayers' money? You know, you look South Africa right now. Yeah, people want to come into South Africa, but South Africans are doing bad. Many people are losing their jobs. You know, you look at what's happening in the world, the pandemic. I think, again, in South Africa, yes, the pandemic is such a bad thing, but it kind of like opened a lot of South Africans' eyes, especially that when they first had that lockdown and they didn't allow people to have drinks and stuff, everything was just shut down. And then many people were then able to see the corruption within the South African government. Like it was broad light in people's faces. Well, you remember when they received that 5 billion rand and they did nothing with it? Like people were waiting for the grants and stuff, and the corruption of that opened so many eyes for so many people. Because we knew there was corruption. We knew there was corruption within the South African government. But the pandemic was like, you know, I don't want to use the word, but it was sort of like a gift. Because it opened so many people's eyes. Like we were like, oh my God, this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. This and this and that. You know? And then you ask yourself a question. Why are all these political leaders don't do nothing for their people? It's only for them, their benefits and their own children. You know, most of them send their children abroad to go learn there. They buy them fancy houses and stuff like that. And you're still waiting for your 2-room house for free that they promise you to build for you for free. Really? And again, this free thing, free that, free this, it literally had made so many South Africans to always be waiting. Some of them can't even think for themselves. You know, they think that 350 rand is the be all and end all. Like, I can't live on that. Like, I spend it in seconds, literally. I can't. I can't live on that. I cannot. I don't know who does. Everybody else who are getting all of those grants, they're all poor, very poor people. All of that money could have been used for something else to create jobs for the country, for the people. But I don't know. Gotta be given for free. Free money. Yeah, there are people that are deserving of that. Like you have orphans, you know. But people, you are able. There's nothing wrong with you. You're waiting for a free grant. They give you a free house. And then you want free water. You want free electricity. You want free food. When the house gets a crack, you want the government to come in and fix it. Like, why? Make it make sense. Why? Why can't you go out and do things for yourself? Every country that's doing bad, most of it's led by Black people. I think, in my opinion, Black people have failed. They have failed. They can't run countries. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Okay? You may hate me. I don't care. But right now, you know, we can't sugarcoat anything. People just have to look at themselves, look in the mirror, and be honest with yourself. You know? When did we get here where Zimbabwe demands the South African government to change their constitution, to change their laws? When did we get there? When? And how did they allow it? You know? Yeah, you go back to the apartheid times, and you read about a lot of things, and you start to realize that in South Africa, yes, those were really bad times. But there were things that suddenly took a bad turn, not the nicest turn. Then you would think they would continue being nice, but it took a worse turn. You know, you look at the electricity, like that went bad right after, you know, ANC came into power, right? The crime just became crazy, all right? the drugs, reading about all of this stuff. There were no drugs in South Africa. Maybe there was, or maybe they were smuggled. I don't know how they would have smuggled it during that time. But it looks, you can see it. The evidence is there. Like after ANC came into power, things just fell apart. They literally went and removed the border that was built, the fence that was put on by the apartheid government between all of those neighboring countries that share the border with South Africa. They went and removed it and put something cheap that people is easier for them to just cross. You saw what they've done to the fence. How did they do that? So we gotta be honest with ourselves. I think, to be honest, African leaders are failing. They failed their own people. They literally don't care about the well-being of the people that put them on in those chairs. It's all about for themselves and their own families. They all get richer and richer and richer and richer, and you become poor and poor and poor and poor. Okay? Africa is so rich with natural resources. We have gold, we have platinum, we have diamonds. How are we so poor? How? How are we not able to access all of this stuff? We struck diamond and we send it to America, and then America comes back and open a company called American Swiss, and we go and buy rings from them, from our diamonds that people went under to go get those diamonds, and you sell them and only to just repurchase it back here. Make it make sense to me. I don't get it. But everybody knows the truth. We all know it. It's right in front of our eyes. The African leaders have failed. They have failed all throughout the continent. Some countries are trying, okay? The greediness, it's unbelievable. The greed is just taking the country down to ashes. And I don't think the coming back, I don't know how the continent is going to survive, I don't understand why we still have mud houses in 2022 while the country is so rich with all of these resources. And there's no jobs. People are poor. Why? The only people that are doing good, that have all of the nice things, are all the people that are in the politician. So, I don't know what's going to happen in Zimbabwe, but as it looks like, people need to go and register to vote. Okay, you need to vote. You need to get ZANU-PF out. Are you tired to be talked about in South Africa in this way? People say, hurtful words. You can't work freely to support your own children. You can't do that because, you're probably illegal in South Africa. You cannot do that. You can't take, you're always being told that you're taking people's jobs. Okay? So, man, it's really a serious issue. And I don't know how running away from your problems will solve anything. Right now in South Africa, we're fighting corruption. Okay? Come 2024, we're going to vote. We're fighting corruption. And what is the Zimbabwean doing? What are you guys doing? You just gonna run away? You can't run away. That ZANU-PF, if a few, a lot of people show up on the polls, it looks like you can defeat it. Because it looks like they even have their own office in Sandton. What's next? The next thing, they're going to be they're going to register to be one of the political parties in South Africa, since they want to be South Africans so bad. They want to be South Africans so bad. And the funny thing, people always say, yeah, we want our land back. Yeah, and it's South Africans always say, we want our land back. We want our land back. They give you your land back. What are you planning to do with it? Or you want to just put, informal settlements all over those lands. Some of the lands, they're not even, severed enough to be, okay, people can live here. This is only like farming land. What are you going to use? What do you want to use it for? I saw a video a while ago. It was this small little village in Zimbabwe. And this is one of the villages that at the time they had taken the farm away from this white farmers. And it seemed like the people in the village, they were suffering a lot after the farm owners have left, and the farmer was given to I think was owned back by the government and stuff like that. And I saw this video when the government finally gave them back the farm, and the whole village was celebrating. They were talking about, oh my God, we're gonna get food, we'll get jobs, I was like, wow. So y'all took the land back with no plan. You had no plan. It was just like, yeah, we're taking the land back. And then there was just no plans of, okay, so this is what we do with the land. Okay, we're going to plant this. What was being done before we took that land on that land? Okay, what were they doing on that farm? Were they farming corn? Were they farming what? Watermelons? Whatever. You didn't even know. They didn't even know how to do those things. And they were celebrating like they were seeing the second coming of Jesus. Those people, they were celebrating like Santa was coming back to town. It looked like. People were happy, they were joyous, they were literally dancing in those dirt roads because the Mlungu is back. They've been hungry. The government wasn't feeding them. So take note, South Africa, as much as you say you want your land back, what do you want to do with your land? So I just want y'all to know what's happening in the world. And the people of Zimbabwe, it is quite sad what's happening in your country. I can only imagine trying to run away from hunger, not being able to feed your own children, and then yet you're going to run somewhere else where you're also not wanted, and your leaders are not doing nothing about it. And also, again, when South Africans try to retaliate, so most of the time they use the word xenophobia, this being xenophobic and stuff like that. For me, I kind of feel like those words are mainly used so that the rest of the world would look at South Africa in a different way. And I do not agree with also South African retaliating in attacking, especially innocent people. Okay? But when they say you have to go back and then they come back and say you are xenophobic, you can't win. So South Africans are saying you have to go back home. Go and get the papers. Why is it so difficult to get the right papers and come back legally? And Zimbabweans need to go back home to go fix their country. You need to fight for your country. You can't run away forever. You cannot run away forever. You need to go fight for your country. Vote this ZANU-PF out. And South Africa, they need to close that branch. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on. You can't come into people's homes, people's countries, and then you want to put your own laws and you want the country to change their laws into yours. Like, why? Go do those laws in your own country. Not there. Like the audacity. Like, oh my goodness. Anyway, you guys, I think I've said a lot. You let me know what you think about this whole thing, but it's crazy. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again on my next one. Bye.